Hey there, Skullheads. I'm Snags.
And I'm Ol Silky.
And tonight we're talking to Austin Ingerman from Gunshine. Well, Silky, why don't you hip us a little bit about this band? Drop a little background on these cats.
Bizarrely, and I can't tell you which song it was, but I was scrolling through Facebook and a song, just like a snippet of them playing, and I was like, God damn, that's a good song. And randomly, I'll catch some of these bands, and if you right click on their name, you go to a business session and actually message them. And I hit them up, and Austin replied almost right away, or within the hour. And I was like, oh shit, this is great. And I've been listening to them since he agreed to do the show. And I can't tell you what song it was, but they're all so good. All the songs have been really good. I've liked everything I've heard so far by them. So, um, but they're out of Florida, I believe. Where are you guys from?
Pensacola, Florida is where we're based out of. So
Okay,
that's where
okay,
the singer and I started the band there. And we have a couple guys that we fly in for tours and stuff like that, but they're in North Carolina.
gotcha. That's kind of like Snags and I. We are both from Atlanta, but I'm down in Florida and he's in Atlanta.
Tell us about the new album and the single. Talk about that a little bit. How that all came together.
Yeah. So the first single, the new album's called Grand Rising. The first single's called Goth Girl. It comes out the 16th. So when this interview comes out, it'll probably already be out, I'm assuming. But yeah, we did. That was a really fun song to put together. It was the first time we sort of wrote something on the spot. Typically, I demo everything out in my home studio and I get it like literally 95% to how we're actually going to go in and record it. I like to have everything demoed out as close as possible to the final recording so that when we get in the studio, we have a really good idea of what we're doing. I like to have all the layers figured out. Even production stuff I'm really into and stuff as well. But for Goth Girl, it was the first time we actually had a songwriter producer, Brian Howes, who did the first Hinder record with like Lips of an Angel and Get Stoned and all their big hits. He did Skillet. He did a lot of Skillet records.
Oh, cool.
Daughtry, yeah, Daughtry, Nickelback. So he's an amazing writer, producer, and stuff. He actually hit us up and was like, "Hey, man, I love the band. Would love to work together." And turns out we have a lot of similar interests. Actually, Jordan's favorite band of all time is AC/DC, and turns out Brian, uh, same thing with him.
AC/DC's, yeah, amazing band.
Yeah, so we definitely nerded out over Mutt Lange and Def Leppard and AC/DC. We share him and I share a lot of the same philosophies on songwriting. Like, we're both kind of melody first guys.
Mhm.
Jordan kind of comes from more the Nashville lyricist kind of things, whereas I like to hum out the vocal melody first, and that's kind of typically how we work. Is I'll hum out the melody or whatever, and I might just be mumbling random words, and then Jordan and I'll sit there and work on the lyrics. Um,
So you'll fit lyrics into the rhythm of the song.
into the melody, yeah, most of the
Yeah.
time. I mean, it can be a
Uh,
little different every time, but we tend to kind of go that route because in the pop and the rock world, it's usually like they'll have the melody and then they'll kind of go back and add the lyrics. Of course, not all the time,
yeah.
um, but yeah. So for Goth Girl, Brian hit us up. We flew to Vancouver, Canada, and we did that song and one other song with him. But for Goth Girl, I had had these two vocal melodies for a while. They were almost. It was kind of inspired by the Def Leppard, like Love Bites kind of thing, where there's almost two choruses.
Mhm.
So I had something like that and then a riff to go over top of it. And I showed it to him. We had a Zoom writing session with Brian and my singer Jordan. And Brian loved it. And so he was like, "All right, Jordan, what have you been thinking about, lyrically lately?" And Jordan was like, "Well, I kind of just he had this goth girl thing from when we were on tour last summer. He kind of uh he saw someone's Facebook post, like, I'm just looking for a goth girl kind of thing. So he wrote it
Right.
down. And he mentioned that on the Zoom call. And when he first told me about the Goth Girl thing when we were on tour, I didn't think that my idea and the Goth Girl thing would be related, but somehow Brian loved the idea of those two things going together. So fast forward, we then flew to Canada and finished writing that in the studio. And we recorded at this place called the Armory where Thunderstruck was recorded and
Mhm.
Living
Wow,
on a
nice.
Prayer. And yeah, so it was a legendary studio. And so,
That's great.
yeah, so there was
Um,
a lot of magic that was kind of built in. And um, yeah,
so so you've had the same producer, only just recently or all the what who produced that first record?
so Chris Collier is our guy who mix and masters everything. He played bass on the first record, and he
Okay.
actually played drums on this most recent record. Except for the 2 songs we did in Canada. But, uh but yeah, he's kind of our right-hand man, so this was the first time we had someone else, kinda do some
Gotcha.
production stuff. So Brian co-wrote Goth Girl with Jordan and I, and then, we had another song that he just produced called, Single Looks Good on You. So we did those 2 songs there, but Chris still mixed and mastered those 2 songs as well. But then we flew from Vancouver to Las Vegas, where we recorded the entire rest of the record with Chris.
Because the sound just that's the one thing, I think initially that jumped out at me is just how good it sounded. Uh, just the wide, it just sounds like you're in an arena already, you know? Uh,
Yeah, Chris is an amazing engineer. I mean, he did the Mick Mars record, Mick Mars solo
yeah,
record.
yeah.
Uh, he works with Korn. He produced a few Korn records, Lynch Mob, KXM. He's worked with a lot of awesome bands. He's a super talented mixer, multi instrumentalist, producer. He's kind of like a jack of all trades.
It really comes through because the sound just, I think I really like I say, I think that's what pulled me in right away is just how good the sound was.
Did you,
Definitely,
uh
yeah.
did you happen to catch, any of those shows? It was a while back, 5 or so years ago when, Axl Rose was subbing in for Brian Johnson on that AC/DC tour.
Well, you know what? We actually, so my fiance and I, we went and saw Guns N' Roses when they first like got back together for the reunion tour.
Mhm.
Um, and that was around the same time that he went and did the AC/DC thing. And his voice was in great shape at that time. I mean, when we saw
Yeah.
him with Guns N' Roses, it was at Dodger Stadium in LA, and he sounded phenomenal.
I
Um,
was I was kinda skeptical, like, I like both of those bands independently, but I was kinda skeptical that it was you're gonna get this kind of "Back in Black," like, he was gonna Guns N' Roses it up, and he embodied the spirit of Bon Scott to a T. I mean, it was amazing. They were heavy on the Bon Scott tunes, and, he really nailed it. It was a great performance, and he was very respectful of Angus. I mean, no
No
hogging the
ego.
spotlight. Yeah, no ego at all. It was
Yeah.
great. But I was just thinking, I mean, those seemed like two big influences for you. I was just wondering if you caught that. 2 of your main influences combined, it's good
I
to
did,
It
good
yeah,
show.
does.
I did see that, and like I said, I mean, it is 2 different styles with AC/DC being, the Aussie rock or whatever, but,
Right.
Mhm.
so, Brian Johnson naturally sounds a bit different than Axl Rose, but I mean, that stuff is really hard to sing, and I think he did an incredible job for,
He's
um
one of the few people who could have stepped in and done that, I think.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
what a hard gig that would have been for anybody to have to do, you know?
Yeah.
Um, with Axel, did you catch, Ozzy's final thing, the, Back to the Beginning and Guns N' Roses played there?
I saw that they played. I didn't get to really watch their performance a whole lot. I was watching, I saw Nuno's performances of, like, I feel like he killed it at that
Oh,
show.
yeah. That whole day was amazing, but, I Guns N' Roses, his vocals were really off that day, um, and I just was wondering if you'd, caught that. A couple other people were stating how Axl's voice is just gone, but their newest single is pretty good. So, you know,
Well, they've been
maybe
touring a lot. I'm sure it's worn down a bit.
yeah.
How did you originally meet Jordan? Like
Yeah,
way
so
back
it was
when? What's the story?
crazy story. So I was touring with another band because I graduated from MI, Musicians Institute, out in Hollywood, California. I went there when I was 22. So at the time, this would have been 2016. So I graduated at the end of 2017, and then shortly after, I got a touring gig with a band called New Year's Day, and we went out and did arenas with like Godsmack and Hailstorm. Did a lot of the big rock festivals. We flew over. I've been to Europe twice and Australia, and so I did that for about 3 years. That was an amazing experience and gave me
Hmm.
like all my touring experience and stuff like that. It gave me, um, yeah, it was just an awesome experience. But the thing, we were in Europe March of 2020, and I got home 2 days before the world shut down with all the COVID stuff.
Oh wow.
Uh, well, to preface that a little bit, so I had always wanted to do my own thing, like, because I love songwriting and stuff, so I always wanted to make my own band, but it took me so long to find all the right pieces. So I was trying to piece together this band the whole time, but when I got the gig with New Year's Day, it kind of put that vision on hold a little bit. So while I was trying to find singers, I was basically trying to find singers while I was on the road and kind of doing that at the same time. So fast forward to the COVID stuff. I got home, like I said, 2 days before the world shut down. Went back to Pensacola, Florida, and someone said, "Hey, man, you got to try this singer. He plays in the dueling piano bar here locally. I think he would sound great for what you're trying to do." And because the biggest thing I was looking for was a guy with an X Factor type voice. We talked about Axel a little bit, but really, you know, similarly to Axel was like you whether you love them or hate them, you know that it's them right away. Or
Hmm.
I'm trying to think. There's so many singers like that that are like I'm a big Avenged Sevenfold fan. They're same kind
Yeah.
of same kind of
Yeah.
thing. In Shadows,
Well,
you know it's him right away.
Ozzy too,
Ozzy,
you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was looking for something like that. I didn't want to have like a middle of the road kind of project or a singer kind of a thing. So um, whether you loved it or hate it, I wanted to know like, hey, this is us. So, anyways, someone said, hey, I think this guy would sound good on your songs or whatever. And he came over, and as I mentioned, I had a lot of things already put together from, like I said, when I was on tour, I was working on demos all the time. I was putting together a lot of what became the first record. So whenever I finally met Jordan, I had a lot of that demoed out already. When he finally came over, we wrote we finished writing the song "Wall Said to Call" together in like a few hours, and we just
Wow.
sit and
That's
wrote
a
the lyrics
great.
together. Yeah, and so it was like instant chemistry, and I kinda thought best case scenario, he would just throw some vocals on some demos and that would be it, but he was like,
Mm,
"Alright, man, when are we going on tour?"
that's great, man.
That's cool.
Uh, so I hope we didn't sidetrack because we did you did want to talk about the new record. Um, how many songs are on this new one?
Yeah, so we're super, super proud of the record. It's 13 songs, um, and it's a lot I would say it's a lot more eclectic than anything we put out. Like I said, with the first record, coming off the heels of COVID, we were trying to make the lyrics very, like, lighthearted, and there was so much dark and depressing stuff, and that's why a lot of the songs like, "Feels so good to feel alright, we ain't gonna stop until the daylight." It's a lot of, like, feel good rock and roll kinda stuff.
Sure.
Convey that vibe, almost like a Van Halen jump where you just have fun when you hear it, you wanna party and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But yeah, with the new record, I would say it's a lot more eclectic. We got a lot more different vibes going on. With Gunshine, we just write whatever comes out. So that can be anything. We're not trying to fit into any box. The vocals are a lot more dynamic. Jordan has a really great lower register. And honestly,
Hmm.
he comes from more of like a country background. And there's a lot of people online that think he's more of like a hair metal guy, but really, so I'm influenced by Guns N' Roses, Motley, and all that, but Jordan only knows probably like 2 Guns N' Roses songs, 2 Motley songs.
Okay.
Uh, he really comes from more he was raised on, like, gospel music and country stuff. So
So let's talk about where did he grow up and who he's related to and all that stuff. You were telling us a little bit about that
Yeah, so
before
I
we
mean,
started
he's a
recording.
distant cousin of Elvis Presley, and he's actually from South Carolina, which lives in Florida now, but, totally got the country accent, and, but that's what's cool about, again, Gunshine. That's what makes it a little different than, like, say, like, the hair metal kind of stuff is that there's a
Yeah.
swampiness to it, right? We call it swampiness,
Yeah. No,
but
it comes through for sure, uh, just his, look and everything. I like his vocal range, and I am excited with this second album to kinda hear what else he can do. The first record just makes you think of, late '80s, um, rock and roll, where it was going, and, uh, and it was refreshing to hear something that echoed back to that, from a fairly new band. So, I'm looking forward to what this second album will sound like.
yeah.
What do you think made, your current producer, songwriter on this album reach out to you? You said he reached out to you, but what do you I mean, there's so many bands out there. This guy's got an amazing resume. What do you think, intrigued his interest? How did he run across you guys? Did he tell you?
Uh, Same thing as what you guys said. I think he saw a video of us on social media, and our manager's a really big like TikTok guy. So he's always been from the start. He's always been like, you gotta be real active on social media, and that's how people find you. And when you sign up and you're a songwriter and you play guitar or whatever, you don't think that you're gonna have to also be working on social media stuff and all these other things that come with starting a band, but it's kind
Mhm.
of all part of it. So yeah, that's how he found us, and we wrote the song "Goth Girl" together. But the rest of the record, Jordan and I collabed on, wrote everything together, and like I said, it's really it's we're really excited about it. There's a lot of dynamics. I'm influenced by a lot of modern rock as well, so there's heavier songs. I actually play.
Huh.
Let me see. Played this guitar stum on the record, 7 string.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
So and I
Nice.
kind of,
What is that? So what's the what pardon my ignorance on the 7-string guitars, but what's the it's an is it basically 1 string lower than the E string?
yeah,
And
so that's what we
what's it
played
tuned
whenever
to?
it's tuned to drop A, but I would tune to different
Gotcha.
things, for different
Gotcha.
songs and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
But I used it whenever I toured with New Year's Day. It was kind of from that time, so I incorporated some of those
Right.
uh, heavier sounds and stuff into Gunshine. So there's a lot of that going on, modern heavier vibes. I actually sang there's a few songs where because my voice can get a little bit more, like, gritty and stuff like that, so there's some songs where we did a lot more combining my voice with Jordan's on this record as well. I sang all the background vocals, and there's a few songs where I'm singing same notes as him, like this I'm singing lead vocals, but it sounds like
Mm.
it's just him singing, but
Oh,
it makes it sound like he's got, like, a grittier voice, so it's kind of a cool,
Oh,
a
that's
good
interesting
cool.
thing.
harmonizing thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think they used to do that at Alice in Chains a little bit, you'd have a couple guys singing
Yeah,
the
you
lead
didn't
vocal at the
realize
same
how
time.
much Lane stayed or how much, Jerry sang until Lane had died, and then you're like, "Holy shit," you know?
They would sing lead vocal lines together, and it would give it this chilling kinda
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
double
and
layered
I always
effect
thought that
there.
was just Lane, so it's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so it's kinda added a cool dynamic. It's, like, kinda more of the modern vibes mixed with, some of the classic vibes, mixed with some of the, uh there's the swampiness kinda element in there, and so there's definitely a lot of songs that have a lot of different elements going on. The we have so Jor like I mentioned before, Jordan, he played dueling piano for years, so he's a really, really good piano player. So we have a song called Valentine that he actually wrote, I think when he was like 15, but he just gave me a rough piano and a vocal. And then I kind of went in and produced it and sort of pulled it in kind of an 80s rock direction a little bit, like a Boston kind of Def Leppard sort of vibe. And it just came out amazing. I mean, Jordan, like I said, he's a great piano player, so it's cool to have we have 2 ballads on the record. We got an acoustic song where Jordan does a harmonica solo in. So there's a lot.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, we
I
have an
like it.
8-minute song that's like 5. I'm kinda giving away a lot on this interview, but yeah, we have an 8-minute
Hey, all
song.
that's gonna do is make people wanna check out your album, so keep
There you go.
talking. Yeah.
I don't care, I'll give it away, but yeah, we
Yeah,
got
yeah.
there's an 8-minute song to end the record called "Table Dancing," and it's like 5 songs in one. We have a Sinatra part, we have, like, a
Uh,
funky part, so you get to hear Jordan sing like a Sinatra kinda style thing. There's
right,
we
Oh, that's
yeah,
great.
we threw the kitchen sink on this record, so it's gonna be
Yeah.
fun to get it out there.
that's
That's,
awesome.
and now do you guys you had some bands like, I guess, like Steely Dan, where it's like 2 guys and then they would have other people. Do you guys feel like a full, band? Uh, or just it's like a touring thing and then you and Jordan putting the albums together as you go along?
Yeah, that's kinda, so a couple of the guys, so Tommy, he just joined with us back in, I think it was October of 24, so late October, and then, uh, Jake was kinda close to that time as well, so the other 2 guys are kinda newer into the band, but they've done a great job so far with us live. Typically, the way we've done it with the writing kinda side of things is like, um, yeah, Jordan and I will kinda collaborate on stuff, but I just love I guess I'm kind of the guy that's got the home studio in the band, so I love
Mhm.
demoing stuff out, and I'll pick up the mic and record something, pick up the guitar, record something,
You're
program
you're
out
the
the drums, whatever,
you're
and then
kinda you're kinda the Dave Grohl of the band, sounds like,
yeah,
you know?
I just love
Yeah.
production, I love songwriting and stuff like that, so, I have a good setup to get our demos, like, very, very close to where we actually, to where we can really hear, like, what it's gonna sound like,
Mhm.
as a finished
Mhm.
song, so that's typically how we've done it so far, but, um, we stay open to anything, but yeah, Jake and Tommy, our newer guys, have done an incredible job so far, but they live in North Carolina, so it makes it
Yeah,
a little bit
yeah.
more, tough to.
Challenging, sure. Uh,
How did you end up, finding those guys?
Well, Jake came into the band, through a mutual friend, actually, through our tour manager in New Year's Day that we had for a tour. We were looking for a bass player, and he was like, "Hey, you should check out my guy," because they were from North Carolina, and uh, he came in and did an amazing job. And so then we got Tommy through Jake. So it was all
Oh,
just like
got
this
ya.
person knows that person and that
It's
kind
like,
of
"I
thing.
got a drummer." Yeah,
Yep.
that's great.
that's cool. Um,
So, did you guys do a big tour last year? You do a lot of touring?
Yeah, we had a yeah, that was an amazing tour. We went out last summer. We did Sturgis. We did the Whiskey out in California.
Oh, man,
yeah, there's
legendary.
good footage of them at the Whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was, and like I said, I lived in LA for a couple years when I was going to MI. So the fact that it was like a full circle moment, getting to come back a few years later. Because at the time I was trying to start Gunshine when I lived in LA, but it was too soon, and like I said, it got put on hold because I went on tour and everything. So it was really cool to come back full circle and get to headline the Whiskey last year. That was amazing. But yeah, we did that. We did Sturgis. We went, kind of did some stuff over in like Michigan, and then kind of made a whole big loop around the country. But we're gonna do a lot of touring this year to support the new record. So honestly, we've done some shows with like Steel Panther and Buck Cherry, and we've done some things like that, but they've been kind of short runs. So we're really
Mhm.
looking forward to hitting it hard this year.
So when you had the first album, then an EP, and it seemed like 2 or 3 years went by without anything going on. You did have a single in '24. Was there something going on or just touring and not enough time to get in the studio?
Well, there was 2 singles actually. So we had What's Done.
Bayou?
Yeah, What's Done is Done as well. That came out in, I think it was January of 24, and then Bayou came out I think in September. It was really putting together a lot of the songs that eventually became, went on Grand Rising, the new record. A
Mhm.
lot of I'm always writing stuff behind the scenes, but we were kind of busy during that year. Um, just kind of putting things together behind the scenes, kind of trying to get touring stuff together. It seems like a long time when you think of the tour of like the cycle, like, oh, 2 or 3
Yeah,
years or whatever. And like I said,
yeah,
we did put out a couple songs in between then as well. But the thing about it is like Grand Rising, for example, it's coming out early 26, so it sounds like it's been a little longer
sure,
than it has, you know?
sure.
We were working on that basically all last year. So I don't know, man.
Okay.
Time goes by fast.
Oh, yeah. Uh, Now you guys, you were out in LA. Do you think I almost feel like your sound would benefit from being out of LA, and on the East Coast recording, versus the LA just has a sound that it's just been beat to death. And you were out there. Did you see that same kinda late '80s vibe, the hair metal kinda thing, still there?
It definitely still has a vibe. Like when you walked in the Viper Room or the whiskey or something, you see everybody, they got the leather jackets and LA is a unique place, man. I mean, we'd walk and go watch Steve Vai and Nuno on a Monday night at a bowling alley. There was a alley called Lucky Strike, and it was right across from
Mhm.
our apartment. And it's just crazy. You just walk across the street on a Monday night, and they're just playing these legends are just playing,
Oh
right
my
there or
god.
whatever. Um,
Wow.
yeah, I mean, I definitely think that there was. I think there's always an element of like that whole LA Sunset Strip hair metal
Yeah.
thing kind of going on.
And it's cool, but I'm almost glad to hear you're recording it over here, and it has your own, stamp to it versus, LA kind of sound.
Yeah, I mean, I think we always incorporate, there's always a lot of different influences and styles, and I love the soft rock kind of stuff too, like or like the new wave, like Duran Duran, and like like Your
Devo.
Love by the yeah,
Don't
like the
don't forget
Outfield.
Devo.
What's that?
So
San Devo.
yeah, if you're mentioning early '80s bands, don't forget Devo. I'm
Yeah,
rocking
yeah.
my Devo shirt tonight. So
Oh,
Well, there
there
you
you
go.
go.
There was
Nice.
so much yeah, there's so much good music, and, like, me being a '90s kid, I mean, my sister and I, we were raised on, like, Avril Lavigne and Backstreet Boys, and well, not raised on it,
Mhm.
but that's what was coming up at the time, and, um but yeah, but I was raised on Guns N' Roses and Boston and
Mhm.
Ozzy and all that kinda stuff.
Yeah. Now when you refer to, like, Avril Lavigne and stuff like that, what appealed to you? Is it the production side, um, the music? What do you take from that stuff?
I think I've always been attracted to, like, really good songs and pop melodies, like, my mind just works that way a little bit more, and that's why Jordan and I work together because his mind thinks of words. He
Mhm.
thinks about, like, lyrics. That's how they kinda did it in Nashville more. My mind almost tunes out sometimes, like, when I'm listening to songs, I instantly I'm like what hooks me in first is, like, the melody, and, that's where
Mhm.
my mind naturally decides if I like the song or not, and then I go back and learn exactly what the words are. Uh,
Mhm.
it's not that I do that on purpose, it's just naturally what I'm into. So,
Right.
things I don't know, things like, yeah, all that stuff, like the boy band stuff or, like, yeah, Avril Lavigne and Britney Spears and all this stuff is so catchy from a I to answer your question, I think it's just the melody and the production and stuff as well. It's
Mhm.
so well, um
I think that's the power of that genre is all in the production and then some catchy chorus, but, uh for me, when it's always the guitar riff that grabs me on the heavier bands. I think the one of the best albums was that first Montrose record, if you're familiar with that. Uh, and I always felt that was a blueprint to, like, Boston's first album, and then, 1978, the best version of it was Van Halen 1, where you had the pop sound, but, catchy, chorus and lyrics with a really good heavy guitar, uh which bounces back to that first Montrose record. I just feel like that was a formula that, um, that Van Halen just, perfected, you know?
100%, and that's a huge influence in the Gunshine sound, is, like, I wanted to have the rock and roll attitude and the edgy guitars and stuff like that, but with the melody and the catchy, the pop sensibility kinda thing.
Mhm.
Uh,
It's interesting the bands that stand out from the fray because there've been a million hard rock bands out there, but a lot of when people think of Van Halen, a lot of times the first thing that they'll think of is like the amazing guitar playing. But really, when you go back and listen to that stuff, the songwriting is just phenomenal.
Definitely.
And I think they were a jam band before David Lee Roth joined. They were a power trio, and they do these 20-minute versions of Cream songs and blow everybody away with their virtuosity. But he kind of reined it all in and helped them hone their focus on the songwriting. And there, another band that comes to mind is Rancid. I don't know if you're familiar with Rancid, but the songwriting, they're a punk band, 90s punk band that's still around. But if you listen to their stuff, they've got the punk aggression, the punk edge, and all that stuff, but the songwriting is just phenomenal. So it doesn't really matter what the genre is. The bands that stand out that always comes back to what you're talking about, which is melody and something that catches. You want to
Some
hum along with it. You
depth
want to
in the lyrics too
you
is
want to
all.
sing along with it. Same thing with Devo, as I was talking about before. That's why they stand out from that's why you still hear about Devo, but you don't really hear about Human League or Flock of Seagulls anymore. They're the new wave band that stood out because the songwriting was phenomenal. So I think your focus is just dead on. It's great. It's great to have the guitar riffs. It's great to have the virtuosity. Um, uh, but the songwriting, without the songwriting, you're not going to stand out.
Yeah,
Exactly, and you can always sprinkle the technical things in between a great hook or something as well, and that's like, if you think about, like, "Dance the Night Away," like, Van Halen is so catchy, but, like, he was sprinkling little things in there as well,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you can always incorporate a little of that, as well, but, like, like, you mentioned the Boston first record, that's probably my favorite record of all time. So I think
That's an
yeah.
amazing album.
that's what
Yeah.
that's what naturally, like, grabbed my ear the most, was just things that, like, I don't know, Boston's its own thing as well, its own, and I
Sure.
actually played, check this out, I played this is a lot, you're gonna hear my Boston influence a lot on the new record.
Awesome.
So, I played this is,
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah,
if
Is
you know
that
what that is.
the
Tom
The
rock.
Schultz?
Rockman.
I is
Tom
that a Tom
Schultz.
Schultz thing?
Yeah,
Yep. Yeah, they
yeah.
made a new version of his invention, and
That's
I put this bad boy all over the
that's
All
album.
over
great.
the album? Yeah, yeah.
I
Yep.
know that'll jump out. Yeah, that first Boston record is just filthy, and they never topped it. You know, I think "Don't Look
Second
Back"
one's
is
got some
okay,
yeah.
but that first record, man, uh, is so clean. It's like a razor. It's just every song too, nothing wasted.
Yeah.
It's genius, and it never gets old, and it never sounds old. It still sounds
Doesn't
like,
sound dated at all, no.
no.
No. No,
They
I put that first Montrose record right there with that Boston record, and then I feel that Van Halen 1, is the younger brother of all of those 2 records, and they're almost 2 years
And
apart, I think.
and then Grand Rising would be the next in that
Right.
sequence. Yeah.
There you go.
There you go. No, if you listen to, the song I sent you, so Goth Girl, the one that it comes out on the 16th, on which is Friday, but, so right before the 3rd chorus, the final chorus, you'll hear I did a big, like, pick slide, like the hyperspace, Tom Schultz did those, like, hyperspace sounds,
Mhm.
uh, where it sounds like a space shuttle's, like, taking off.
Nice.
He did a
I
lot
can't
of
wait to hear
those.
that.
Yeah, yeah, and it's basically just like a pick slide, but he put all these, like, effects on it, so we kinda recreated that. So yeah, Boston's a huge, huge influence.
That's cool we hit on that because when you said the poppy stuff, I immediately thought of, that formula that became those 3 separate records. Um Space Station Number 5 is another one on, the Montrose that has
Gotcha.
a lot of trippy guitar stuff. If you're not familiar with that first Montrose, that's,
Well, that was,
definitely one to check out.
Montrose was, the first band that Sammy Hagar was in, so he sang on that first Montrose album, and then I think he did a couple albums with them and then struck out on a
Yeah,
solo
just
career after
2,
that.
Paper Money's the second one, and then he went
Yeah.
solo.
Gotcha. Yeah, I haven't dove super deep in that catalog, so I need to yeah, I
That
need to go
first
back and
album,
check that out.
if you like Van Halen and Boston, you would dig that first Montrose album.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just called Montrose, and it's just epic. It's really good.
Killer song called Bad Motor Scooter.
Oh, I've heard
Good
of
Yeah,
that.
stuff. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, but their Space Station Number 5 is real trippy guitar effects, that's what I was thinking of.
Oh, nice. Okay. I'll have to check
So
that out.
so you hear one thing you hear about from a lot of bands is just crazy things that happened on tour. Doesn't necessarily have to be anything scandalous, but just entertaining stories. You got any entertaining stories from touring, are you guys just all pros and you just drink some coffee in the morning, get up, get it done, get to bed early, and no throwing TVs out the window or anything fun like that?
We're a little bit yeah, we're a little bit boring to be honest. Yeah, we're pretty I like to work out and stuff and yeah, the bass me and the bass player, we both love drinking coffee and stuff and honestly, we're both kind of early risers. So
Right.
but yeah, but I mean, Jordan and Tommy are kind of the characters of the group. So yeah, we have our fun, but we definitely keep it pretty professional and keep it pretty I can't think of anything off the top of my head that would be worth I'm just trying to think of like but
So
I mean,
nothing like when Ozzy Osbourne fell asleep in the wrong hotel room and they had to cancel an arena gig because they couldn't find him the next day because he was sleeping.
but yeah.
Nothing exciting like that.
Nothing like that off the top of my head. When I was touring with New Year's Day, though, that was a blur because I did so many tours with them, and we were, like I said, we were in other countries and stuff. So I mean, it definitely there were things like I mean, our singer one time was like, we had to play this big festival, Rocklahoma, off of no sleep, and like we're all like sleeping on the floor of airports, and it's just stuff like that. But I can't think of anything like super dramatic off the top of my head. But I'm sure. I'm sure there'll be some more funny stories as we keep going here. Gunshine is relatively newer to the touring world, like I was mentioning earlier. This year we're gonna hit it pretty hard. So
Have you ever seen the movie Spinal Tap?
yeah, yeah,
I love that scene where they get lost backstage. Like they keep trying to find their way out onto the stage, and they're, oh no, it must be this way, it must be that way.
yeah.
Just, I'm sure you'll have some next time we interview you cats, when you're rich and famous, but you still remember the little guys and you come back and interview with us again, you'll probably have a ton of stories from the 2026 world tour. So
Oh, yeah, and I'm sure there's tons of things I mean, definitely things like what you're saying have definitely already happened, but it's
Yeah.
it kind of becomes a blur sometimes too. So
I
Has
could
has
imagine.
has
Yeah.
everyone in the band gone on tour? You're not having to break anybody in?
yeah, I mean, I think everybody kind of did different things
Yeah,
in different ways and stuff like that. Like I mentioned, when I was in New Year's Day, it was a lot of like arenas and stuff. So I was just really fortunate that my first real tours were arena tours. So I kind of got spoiled in that
yeah,
regard.
that's
Um,
amazing.
What was it like for you coming out of MI and stepping onto an arena stage for the first time?
well, because I'm from Pensacola, there's so many like so the bar band, the cover band scene is actually really big down in the Gulf Coast because you got
Mhm.
spring break party, like,
Sure.
tourists come
Right.
down to Florida. So
Yeah,
you could
Panama
play
City.
there you go. Exactly. I used to do like Panama City spring break and stuff when I was 18 and 19 and actually started playing in bars when I was 17. So even before I went to I had some experience doing some pretty big like cover band stuff. Like again, the spring break Panama City was probably I mean there's a lot of people. So
Yeah.
it was
Did
crazy stuff,
Were you playing, like, spinnakers and
Yep,
stuff like that? Yeah.
Spinnaker.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I have a friend who was at some Panama City spring break party years ago, and Molly Hatchet played, and he said they played "Flirting with Disaster" like 3 times. This is I
Wow.
mean, then they didn't have that's their one hit song. So they play "Flirting with Disaster," they play from filler songs, and y'all want to hear "Flirting with Disaster" again? The crowd will go, yeah, and they play it
Oh
again.
my god, that's
So
wild.
don't get yourself in that situation. Make sure you have a lot of good hit songs.
That's what we try. We try to make every song a banger in its own right, but, that's funny, man. But no, yeah, so Spinnaker, we used to play there a lot. I played down in Key West at Sloppy Joe's and a lot
Okay.
of the really, really fun, cool, like, cover band gigs and stuff. So there was still you're playing in front of a lot of people, getting really good experience doing that. So I still had stage experience. I just didn't I guess those were my first real, like, national level tours, I
Right.
guess. But to answer your question, it was still pretty surreal getting to step on, first time you play an arena or whatever. But then the minute you start playing, it just feels like you're just dialed in, doing your thing.
Right. You
Yeah,
just
I would
lose
say if
yourself.
you're one with your instrument, you're doing your thing, and what's going on at the edge of the stage is something else, you know?
Yeah, and it can actually be more nerve wracking playing smaller places than sometimes the really big festivals or arenas because the crowd's so far back.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
you
Yeah,
really Yeah, you can't see anyone's faces or anything anyway, except for, like, the first few rows, so it's it's really more intimidating when there's, like, 15 people in the room and they're sitting there with, like, their arms crossed and staring at you and stuff.
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's, or somebody yells something out and it's a small enough club you can hear the guy, you know,
Right. Yeah.
uh, saying something nasty, but,
What's it been like meeting all of these professional musicians? I assume you've touring with both of these bands, you've opened up for quite a few musicians that you were aware of and maybe even looked up to when you were growing up. What has that been like?
Man, it's so cool that that's actually happening now that I've started my own band. So, like, in Gunshine, we've had Stephen Piercy from Rat, who is you know, I guess he reached out and was like, well, we actually did some shows with him and stuff as well, and he sounds amazing. The band was awesome, and but
wow.
he found us on social media as well, and was saying really nice things about the band and Joe Elliott from Def Leppard. This was a crazy story actually. So we had a fan reach out and she said, "Hey, I just bought a CD. Can you get it to me really quick because I'm gonna hand Joe Elliott a CD at the VIP." And so
No
I'm
way.
thinking like, I mean, of course, what's my first thought? I'm like, okay, sure, it's you're gonna give Joe Elliott a Gunshine CD,
Mm,
and then that's already like kind of crazy. And then what are the chances he's actually gonna listen to it and it's not gonna get thrown
right.
in the trash or something?
Sure.
But sure enough, we sent her the CD, and someone tagged me in this post, like, it was probably, like, a month after that or however long, and they were like, "Hey, Joe Elliott played you guys on his radio show that he does." And so
Holy
I'm like, "What?"
crap.
And so I click on it, and I listened to it, and he played our song loud, and he's telling
Yeah.
the story. Yeah, he's telling the story, and he's like, "So, I got handed a CD, backstage by a fan," and legit telling the story of this lady that DM'd us and asked for the CD, and
That's
yeah.
it's things like this
Jeez.
that all comes together, and it's, 1 in a million. Just don't lose sight of that. There's these so many bands don't get these chances, it's exciting to hear this.
Yeah. No, I'm super, super grateful, uh, like you were saying, I mean, these guys they're legends, and they're people that you grow up listening to their stuff, and so to have them, compliment, your whatever you're doing is like a super huge honor, so
Well, it made me think I wanna say it was, like, Rod Stewart's girlfriend or somebody, told them they have to go, or Keith Ri somebody, "You gotta go down and see this guy, Jimi Hendrix," and it was kinda, a similar thing of getting someone involved. Oh, it's El Condor.
Go to
Hey, hey,
snagsandsilky.com. We got mugs, we got t-shirts, we got posters,
Hoodies,
stickers, yeah, hoodies,
stickers.
stickers,
yeah, we got everything.
Say
He's our
something.
salesman.
All right, I was gonna say I'm hiring you for our
Gunshine is
marketing as well.
awesome.
Yeah. Say something about Gunshine.
I already did.
Oh,
I already
okay.
said they're awesome.
Okay.
All right,
El
Gunshine is
Appreciate you.
Condor,
awesome.
everybody.
That's
There
amazing.
you go. You have a El Condor's endorsement there. Yeah. No, that was Keith Richards' girlfriend that
Yeah.
discovered Jimi Hendrix in a club in New York City and started introducing him to people in the industry. Keith was pretty jealous. He's like, "What are you doing hanging out with this guy?" But yeah, I mean, you never know how these connections come together. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, really.
Um,
Who's your favorite band that you've opened for as far as just the experience of opening for them, doing the show, how the show felt?
I mean, so you're talking about in Gunshine or just in general?
Either, just as a professional musician so far.
I mean, so Hailstorm was like they are a class act from top to bottom. Like the whole crew, the band, everybody's like super, super cool. And the band is just killer. I mean, it's all just like raw
yeah.
rock and roll.
I love that Lizzie's brother is the drummer, and he's such a energy. He really fires that band along.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And he's such a good dude and just such a he's a character, but in like the best way. He's super
Right.
awesome. So yeah, they were definitely probably close to the top of the list. But I mean, I'm lucky that everybody that we've pretty much done support stuff for has been pretty cool. So
Mhm.
I don't have any horror stories or anything like that. But yeah, in another cool one was Steel Panther. Those guys were awesome.
Yeah, I bet that was fun. That must have been a fun gig, huh?
They
I've already
kill me. I love
I've
those
already
guys.
given away a lot of secrets, of the new
Right.
album, so I'll give another one away. So we got Michael Starr as a featured
Oh,
artist in one of the
nice.
songs as well. So that's another
Oh,
That's
that's
curveball
awesome.
on the new
uh,
album.
have you heard their cover of Van Halen's DOA?
I don't know if I've heard that one, but I've heard him sing a lot of David Lee Roth stuff because I know that
Yeah.
they used to be in a tribute band, and dude, I mean, he nails it.
Yeah, so Steel Panther did it was a digital single, and it's Steel Panther, but it looks like the old faded album cover, and they cover that or it's Beautiful Girls. That's what they did.
I
But
think
it's
it's Beautiful Girls and the B side is
DOA.
DOA. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Uh,
okay.
and
They
they
do a
they
great version of
God,
Beautiful Girls. Yeah.
it's spot on. It's
Yeah.
just the guitar work. You're like, is that Eddie? Wait a minute. It's
But yeah, no, they're Satchel and yeah, both Michael Starr, Satchel. I mean, those guys, man, they're
Yeah.
great musicians and they're funny dudes as well, but also super down to earth and super nice and
mhm.
stuff as well too. Um,
There's a script out there that you can find on the internet. Both Silky and I have read it, called Crazy from the Heat. It was the feature film that David Lee Roth was gonna film before the deal fell apart. He wrote a feature length script, and it's just comedy. It's about him as David Lee Roth. He goes to an island and uh, 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 defeats some bad guy and some, it's just this kind of B movie comedy thing that he wrote, and the script is out there. You can find it. I think it's funny. Silky was like, it's okay, but I always thought they should still make it and have Michael Starr play David Lee Roth in that
yeah,
movie. He would nail it. It would be
yeah,
great.
he nails it, man.
Yeah.
Just reading that script, it wasn't worthy of breaking Van Halen up. That was my
No, nothing's worthy of that,
stance towards it.
but they should make it. David Lee Roth should direct it. Michael Starr should play David Lee Roth.
Yeah.
It could still happen. But anyways,
So I want to ask you: is there anyone that just when you're jamming in the rehearsing, is there anyone you tend to cover, just noodling around, or are you just working on original ideas as you go along?
Um, Well, because I did so much like cover stuff when I was like a teenager, then through my 20s. I mean, honestly, even when I started Gunshine, like when I would come back home, I would still play cover gigs and stuff like that too. And I still do little gigs like that here and there from time to time.
Mhm.
So just from learning those songs, all the main songs for all those years, like all the big party rock stuff,
Sure.
Bon Jovi and Ozzy and
Yeah.
even the newer stuff and all that as well. It's I mean, I guess I didn't do that as much when I was like at home just hanging out. So I would always
Mhm.
try like lately I've been trying to I would say when I was in my early 20s, I was practicing guitar a lot more. And then now I'm more like songwriting all the time kind of thing.
Mhm.
Um, so I would say it's a lot less of like noodling around these days, but I still love to just like I guess pick up my guitar a little bit and just kind of shred for a little bit, but it's a lot less of like exercises or like trying to learn a cover or anything like that
Sure.
unless it's
Sure.
something that I need to do for a gig.
Um, the guy that was in, uh, he was in Deep Purple. He replaced, Richie Blackmore.
Tommy
This
Bolin.
no, no, newer. He was in,
Oh,
Steve
Greg Moore,
Morse. Steve Morse.
Steve
Yeah,
Morris,
yeah.
yeah, Steve Morris, yeah.
Steve Morse, there's stories of him just backstage, just constantly playing, and he's just walking around hours before the gig, and he's just constantly playing. And I almost feel like if I did that for hours, when I finally got time to go on stage, my hand would be froze up. You know?
Yeah, I think for me, I mean, I was really into doing that, like I said, when I was going to MI and like kind of in that era. But I think for me, it started becoming like, well, the thing that excites me the most is like writing vocal melodies and writing great songs and things like that. It's just more exciting because, you start to realize there's 12-year-olds on YouTube that can just shred like
Yeah.
crazy. So
Yeah,
it's like,
it's nuts.
It becomes a technical exercise. I gotta tell my Steve Morris story, though, since you brought Steve Morris up.
Okay, go ahead.
So there was this band in Atlanta back in the '80s. They were like a Faces, Replacements, kind of a bar band called the Swingin' Richards. There was a guy named the Butcher who was their guitar player. He used to have a music video show in Atlanta that he would host on a local station, and he had a little bit of a big ego, and he was a passable, average, you know, decent bar band guitar player. They were kind of Georgia Satellites kind of band.
gotcha.
Um, and the Butcher had this thing he would do, and I don't know why, but when they were playing live, if he saw somebody air guitaring like near the stage, he'd offer them his guitar, like, "Oh, you think you can play? Here, you play it." And they'd always be like, they'd always kind of back off.
Yeah.
Steve Morris, who's a phenomenal guitar player, he heard about this. So on purpose, he went to one of their gigs and and started air guitaring in front of the stage. And the Butcher held his guitar out and he grabbed it. And with one hand, as he's bringing the guitar to himself, he's already up and down the neck. And then he just plays this mind melting solo. And then and the Butcher's just kind of standing there, and then he, as he's handing it back to him, he's still going with his one hand. And
That's awesome.
they said the Butcher went back and stood like with practically with his back to the audience by his amp for the rest of the game.
That's probably the last time he did that little thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it had
I
to be.
would think
Yeah,
so.
it's a
You
hilarious
mentioned
story.
these Wonder Kids on YouTube. As a band now, are you does any of that affect what you're doing? Do you see some of these guys and it, I mean it's just got to change um just the dynamic of being on, in
Well,
the
they're all over
business.
they're all over TikTok. I mean, it
Yeah.
seems like you guys have just embraced social media with a vengeance, and that's paying off.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, like, I think it's a lot harder to write a great song than it is to learn how to shred because, yeah, that's something
Mhm.
that you can just do and work hard at it. Whereas I think songwriting is a little bit more of a fleeting kind of a thing. So it's um I just think for me and for us, it was instead of chasing your tail, just trying to practice guitar exercises all day, it's like there's already someone on
Gotta get
YouTube
out there.
that's you know doing the craziest stuff you could possibly imagine. So I
Yeah.
think the focus was let's write the best songs possible, and
Mhm.
you try to just have as much technical ability to be able to do things if you hear them in your head, like uh the guitar practice comes in handy if you hear a technical part in your head and you need to get it out, and that kind of a thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
Uh
you're chasing your tail otherwise, or at least that's how I felt.
Mhm. I think if it's the songwriting, you look at Black Sabbath, and then you look at like Iron Claw, another heavy doom band from 1970, and or Lord Baltimore, some of these really obscure early late 60s, early 1970s uh, goth doom bands that maybe heard Black Sabbath's first record, but they didn't have the chops or the songwriting. And looking back as a fan of just that early style of metal, um I'll play both albums back to back in the car, or an early Budgie album, and you love it, but you're like, why didn't this take off versus that? And I think it comes down to mostly just the songwriting. So you
And,
gotta get those.
yeah, I mean, and there's just always so many external factors involved with the music business and what is it the right place and the right time, and of course, there's all
Mhm.
that stuff too, but
Yeah,
I do think
managing.
at the end of the day, like, um, if if you write something that you're excited about, and I know for me, I have like a really strong filter of like things that I think are catchy or whatever. Like um I would always like critique things in my head. Like if I heard a song, like not in like a bad way, but I would just think to myself, like if I was writing this song, I would go here with it or I'd go there. So I think that's what's cool
Mhm.
about like having your own band or your own creative outlet is that you can you can be you, you know what I mean? So it's kind
Yeah,
of like, but I do think at the end of the day, if you're excited about something, and then that means hopefully other people are going to resonate with it too. And then aside
sure.
from that, you got to hope that the music business is friendly and forgiving and soft and stuff as well. But
Well, if you hit on something there, Snags and I uh, basically will send something to the other one, and if I think it's funny, I know he'll think it's funny. Um, but if it doesn't move you, even our creativeness with this podcast and things we've come up with, um, if I don't if it doesn't if you don't find it funny, to yourself, you have to entertain yourself. You do it for you, and if other people jump on, then that's great.
100%. Yeah, absolutely.
But
What are your
anyway,
what are your touring plans for 2026? Do you have anything lined up yet as far as bands you might be opening for?
So
Um,
we're gonna go out this year. We're doing a lot of headlining kind of stuff this year. But yeah, we've got a few Florida shows. We got OCC Roadhouse March 5th in Clearwater, and then we have Daytona Bike Week March 6th and 7th. We're playing the Boot Hill Saloon there, which is gonna be awesome because we did that one back in October for Biketoberfest and it was slammed. So that'll be awesome. And then from there, we're putting together a tour for March. We've already got a few Texas shows lined up as well. Yeah, just go, gunshineband.com or any of our socials. If you click those links and go to our tour page or whatever, it'll have all the shows. We're constantly adding. Um, the team is working hard right now. Just constantly, we're adding shows and stuff. So still putting it
so
all together.
and the plan basically just be on the road all this year and get the word out about this album as much as possible and just max out the touring.
Yeah, we've got a few things, little things that we're gonna try to route around. We're working on, well, we have the whiskey as well again this year, July
That's
10th.
awesome.
So that'll probably be we're gonna do some West Coast stuff in June and July, I think. I think we're doing Northeast in April. So we have certain kind of things like that mapped out. But
Do you decide what clubs to try to go to, or because there's in if you guys could get down to Fort Myers, there's a place down here. It's fairly big. It's called the
the
Ranch.
ranch. Yeah, we
Yeah.
played there.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah,
How?
we first started the band.
Okay.
This was a few years ago, but it was
Okay.
open for Buck Cherry.
Okay. I remember that coming through, but I didn't make that night. Um, but it would just be so cool to see you guys live.
Yeah, I'd
Um,
love to get there and do a headline date. So hopefully we can
right?
do that pretty soon.
Yeah. So, well, I'm certainly gonna follow you guys from here on out. It would just be so cool to see you guys get down to Fort Myers. Um,
That'd be
any
killer.
more anymore when you try to, like, somebody plays up in Tampa from Fort Myers, so many things are just in Tampa or Fort Lauderdale, and you have to it's a 2-hour drive to get decent tickets. It's another 300-400 a piece. Do you get a room, just all the things. It gets pretty pricey, so
So you
yeah.
gotta play Fort Myers so he doesn't have to drive.
Yeah, I
uh,
mean, like, I love playing there. We're Florida boys, so
yeah.
I'm down to hit all the good areas.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep an eye out. That'd be great. Um, and so the album comes out on Friday, the whole
Uh,
album,
the single, the first
just a
single.
single. Okay.
So actually,
When
I'm
does the
glad you
album
brought
drop?
I'm glad you brought this up because we're doing something a little different. So we're gonna play the singles game like a lot of people do on the digital side of things. So we have a song coming out every month until July, and then we're gonna drop the whole thing in July on digital, like streaming and stuff. However, for CDs and vinyl, for physical copies and stuff, we're gonna release the whole thing here very shortly. Um,
Okay.
That's
so
smart because you get people it motivates people to buy that, buy the physical media. Get it
Yeah, I'm
re
a
That's
bit
a
of a
great idea.
collector.
Why
I
don't
always
more
try to
people do that?
get the physical copy.
Did
well,
you guys think of that, or is that something that other bands have been doing? Because that's a great way to roll it out,
I've
actually.
never seen anyone do it, but our it was actually our manager that had the idea, and I thought it was a great idea because,
Yeah.
we have a lot of people that are really into physical, and I mean, I love physical, I love vinyl, and
Mhm.
yeah, we sell a ton of CDs and stuff like that, so I think it's gonna be fun for to kinda it's the best of both worlds because in digital, you do need to do several singles to keep the algorithm moving, to keep traction going on Spotify and stuff like that.
Mhm.
That's why people do it that way.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's good to still play that side of things as well. However, for the people that would get frustrated by waiting for 6 singles to come out and then the full album, then they can buy the vinyl. They can buy the CD if they want. So I think it's the
Uh,
best of both worlds.
That's a
that's
great
exciting.
I'm a marketing guy by trade, so that just struck me as a great idea. Yep.
So that'll just through gunshine.com, you can keep up on when that drops.
GunshineBand.com, right?
Yeah,
Gunshine Band.
gunshineband.com, we're gonna be announcing like a pre-order for it very soon. And so,
Cool.
it'll be an exclusive, we haven't announced this yet, but it's gonna be exclusive gold vinyl. Um,
Sweet.
Nice.
but yeah,
He's
Sweet.
gonna have to get that. He always whenever
I like
something
the
comes
vinyl. I
he's
I
got 6 copies of every classic album,
Now I don't.
because
nice,
this one's in
nice.
plaid vinyl. I gotta get
Uh-huh.
it.
Yeah,
Uh,
there you go.
so do you want to do the poetry corner now, Snags?
So yeah, so one of the things that he likes to do is write poems about whatever the subject of the podcast is. So there's actually a Gunshine poem he's about to
Yeah.
drop
Okay,
for the
alright,
So
listeners.
so
Yeah.
your would it be fun for you to figure out how many song titles are in this, okay?
alright.
So here we go. Uh Checkmate. We had a date, but I was late. I said, meet you there. Got to the whiskey and I hit the roof because she was 90 proof. The band was loud. I said, no way. I could see that she'd been gunshined. This girl was mine. She was so fine until she got gunshined. Should have known that I was playing with fire. I thought we had something real, but what's done is done. We had our fun. Thought she was the one. That goth girl. Hang on, I'm at the end of the page. That goth girl had to live free and get wild. She was so fine until she got gunshined like a fine wine that's corked. They'll spread the story from the bayou to Boston. I can't prove it, but I bet till the end of days that it was Austin.
Incredible.
Amazing. Yes. That's fine art right there.
I wasn't
Fine art.
writing down how many you got, but because I was kind of interested in the story as well.
Yeah.
But
It's like 13 songs, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was killer.
That's good, man.
So
All
that
right.
started with our Evil Knievel episode, and now I'm like pegged in where shit. Now I gotta come up with something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
We
you
always-
even got the new one in there. You got Goth
Yeah.
Girl in there.
Yeah.
I had to. Yeah, that was the best. That was the one.
We'll post that poem on our X account after
Yes,
Yeah.
we post the
That's fun.
episode. But
that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
killer.
I'm glad you. I was like, shit. I'm basically gonna say he stole my girl, and but I'm glad you found the humor in it.
that's not the first poem about somebody stealing your girl.
Yeah, we did a Kiss episode where I had Gene.
I'm noticing. Yeah,
steal-
I'm
Okay.
noticing a theme. Is Gene Simmons who stole your girl in that
I think
other
so.
poem?
Yeah, I
So
think
you're in good company, Austin. You and Gene
Yeah.
Simmons.
Hey, I'll take
Yeah.
it. I'll take it.
Yeah. So anyway, that's Gunshined.
Yeah, this was fun, man. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll send you the link when it's up. Usually, actually, I get these edited and posted same night, so it might be in a couple hours. If there's any extenuating circumstances, probably tomorrow. But you'll
Mhm.
get an email.
Awesome, man. No, thank you guys for having me. It's super fun.
Yeah,
This
was awesome.
It was great just having you respond so quickly, and we couldn't do it last week, but it's just so cool to meet you right on the rise. This is gonna take off. I feel good things for you guys. So
I appreciate it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm excited. Excited to get this record out. It's definitely going to be. It's going to be different. It's going to be. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. So
well,
I look
I feel
forward
like there's
to,
I feel like a lot of bands have just kind of fallen away too. The heavier side. I mean, there's always new bands, but
What?
a lot
You're
of
saying
the
that because we're old. It's all of
Yeah.
our bands that are falling away.
A lot of our
this is the
bands
next
are just-
generation shows us there's some hope out there.
they're
so,
just it's fading. It's
Yeah.
it's hard to see. But
Yeah. I look forward to streaming all the singles. He's gonna buy your gold vinyl. I can already tell you that.
at some
so,
point, yeah.
Yeah.
All
Dude,
right.
that'd be
So
killer, man.
cool. Yeah.
Well, stay on after he shuts off because this site does.
Oh,
weird
right.
shit.
Yeah, we got to make sure everything's uploaded. So we're going to say goodbye to the audience and stay on till I get the 100% upload
Okay.
thing on the platform. Bye, everybody. Peace out.
See you, everybody.